Hi, welcome back. This is me, Bob Mills, here on Talk Radio. Is that a flange on that guitar? If there's any musicians out there, I believe that's called a flange, that wow, 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 wow little thing, but it's a lovely piece of music. Thank you very much to Joe Pasquale and Bob Golding, and I'm going to talk now to Danny Posthill, who I think I've met. I think I've spoken to Danny before. He's one of those people that I'd see him on telly, and I think, oh, no, Danny, but then I don't know if I do, so let's find out. Hello, Danny.
Hiya, Bob. How are you? I tell you why we know each other. We done a working men's club in Romford about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was opening and you were closing.
I remember you stormed it. I do remember, yes.
Oh, really? Well, if that's what you're calling storming it, I'll take that, because it was quite a tough gig, if I'm honest with you.
But it is funny. You know what? It's a funny thing. I spoke to Joe Pasquale earlier, and I've known Joe for years and years and years. But this sums up this business. And my producer, we call him that, bless him, came in and said, "Oh, you and Joe are really good friends. You've known each other for years, haven't you?" I said, yeah. I said, but I'll be honest, I probably see him twice a year. And the last time I saw him was in the motorway services on the way back from a gig. Because that's the wonderful thing about this business, is that sometimes you don't see someone for 5 years. And then oh, hello, mate, how are you? Yeah. How did that thing go? And you carry on as normal, isn't it?
You do. It's like you've seen them yesterday, isn't it? It's really nice. That's the beauty of it.
So what are you up to, Danny?
Well, obviously, because I'm not working, I'm not doing any gigs. I mean, I was very lucky to be doing 2 months worth of gigs in September and October, and I was very busy, and I'm very fortunate for that. And so I just thought to myself, I'm in lockdown, I might as well get a YouTube channel started. So I'm just uploading videos all the time. I mean, at first I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm selling myself out a little bit here because I'm giving all my material away. But you're not really, because the material I do in my act is separate to what I would do on YouTube, because what I'm doing on YouTube is all really topical. And it's also good because you can try out your material and then go, do you know what? That worked. People like that. I can put it in my set, you know? So it does work really well for me, actually.
Yeah, you see, if it's topical, that's fine. What amazes me, and I've had this conversation with a couple of the really good one-liner comics like Tony Cowards and people like that, and they post gags on the internet, and I think, what are you doing that for? Keep it in your pocket. But I think what they do, I mean, Gary Delaney's the worst, because as he says, but for an hour show, I need 600 gags. So I need to write 6,000 gags to see which ones work and which don't work. And
Gary's prolific though, isn't he? Do you know what? I've done a gig with Gary, right? And I didn't know that Sarah Millican was his wife. And I'd done an impression of Sarah Millican in my set. And it got a bigger laugh than it normally did. And I'm going, this is really weird. Well, Gary was there just to try out new material for Mock the Week, right?
Yeah.
So, I done my Sarah Millican, which was really nice, And I come off stage, and this bloke just says to me, "You do know why that got a bigger laugh, don't you?" I went, "No." He went, "You do know Sarah's Gary's wife, don't you?" I went, "No." So I went up to Gary and I said, "Gary," I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "I didn't realise it was you." He just said, "No." He said, "Business is business." So Gary walks on after me and he says, "It's great to be on the same bill as someone who takes the mick out of your wife. At the same time, some men get off on another man doing their wife." You know, he's just so clever, isn't he?
He's a very funny bloke. But this is the wonderful thing. I had him on the show a few weeks ago because he's got a book out. Well, his book is just jokes. It's just a series of jokes that he's written that he had decided aren't quite good enough to use in his set, but he'll stick them on. He'll publish them as a book, and it is phenomenal. And when he talks, it's like a science. It's like you listen to a mathematician or something talking about it. It fascinates me because I've never ever written material. I do it. I'm in my car and I come up with something. I do it, and I might write down 2 words so I don't forget, the stream of consciousness and stuff. But some people, it really is like a mathematical thing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I'm like you, Bob. I just jot notes into my phone, and then what I do is I'll have one day out of the week and I'll elaborate on the notes. I'm not this sort of, like you say, this mathematician of gags. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Who can? I'm not a technician with it. I go, oh well, that's funny, and I've come up with it. But I don't sit and try and go. Oh, I mean, I think everyone has their different skills, don't they? And Gary's just an incredible technical writer.
It is a wonderful thing. I have to say, I've always been in awe of the gag comics. You know, I mean, I like to think I do. You know, what I do is like what most comics on the circuit do really these days is I take 10 gags and I make that into a 4-minute bit of material. So it's, you know, it's talking, gag, talking, gag, and it goes like this. But when you see, I went to see Ken Dodd, blessed God rest his soul.
That man was just incredible. I took my nana and granddad to go and see him when we were like, I was 19. And he'd done 3.5 hours. And I said, God, Nana, that was brilliant. Are we going now? She said, no, son, that's just the interval.
Yeah.
And honest to God, that was the 3.5 hours. That was the first half. And then he came back on the second half with a packed lunchbox and a flask. And he said, you're getting a lift home off the milkman. That's how prolific the man was.
The night I saw him, he'd done about 3 hours. And he then stopped and he just laughed for a second, just gave himself a little bit and laughed. And he said, I'm sorry about that. I never laugh at my own jokes. I think it's very unprofessional, but I've just remembered some of you lads, you've got babysitters.
Well, do you know? I've got to say, Bob, if that's the case, I think Billy Connolly would have been hugely offended by that because he laughs a lot of his own stuff, doesn't he? It's great.
Every impressionist I've ever spoken to, here's the rule on this show, right? I get people on because I like them and I like talking to people. It's a chat show. We chat to each other. We don't do anything important. We just chat. But no one has to sing for their supper, all right? You got someone to plug, you plug it. But you, Danny Posthill, are the same as every single impressionist we ever have. And I'm going from Phil Cool, Phil Cornwall, John, what's his name? John Renshaw. What's his name? John Culshaw.
Yeah.
Oh, you go. So, how are you doing with the pandemic and the political situation? Well, I think it's quite serious. I mean, as Billy Connolly would have said, I don't know the way.
Yeah. What it is, Bob, is we can't help ourselves. It's like a form of Tourette's. Do you know what I mean? And I think what it is, and a lot of people would be surprised that I do impressions because I'm actually deaf in my left ear. And in fact, that's the reason I had 200 driving lessons, because my driving instructor was deaf in his right ear. So you can imagine he's trying to tell me what to do. 10 left, you are, what did you say? I don't know, what did you say? You know, that's a lie, by the way, actually. It was 100 lessons I had with him, and then I thought, this can't work, you know. But no, I think when you're talking about, you know, gags and your act and stuff like that, with me, I'm constantly having to change stuff because of what's going on. You know, well, obviously now you've got people don't know whether Joe Biden is actually going to be president. They haven't officially said it yet, you know. But you know what I love about Donald Trump is I think every impressionist does Donald Trump. You know, what I love about Donald is he is the new Frank Spencer. You know, everybody in the 80s was doing Frank Spencer, and now everybody does Donald. You know, what I love about Donald is his face before he talks looks like he's straining for a huge poop. That's what I love about Donald. You know, it's really fantastic. And he does this thing with his hands as well, you know, because obviously everyone knows. I mean, there was a thing on social media where there was a harmonica. Someone made a video. Yeah. It was so clever. You know, what I look at it, it's like he's trying to squeeze a ball. You know, he's really trying to squeeze the ball. The ball is really hard. And the more he closes his hands in, the tighter and the harder the ball is. And he's really, his face clenches. You can tell it's really difficult, very, very difficult, you know. And Boris as well does a thing with his hands a lot. What I find with Boris is his arms are literally independent of him when he talks. That's what I genuinely find. I think Boris could literally be the worst darts player I have ever seen in my entire life. Yes, stop. You know.
Here's the thing, Posthill. Here's the great thing.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to I think it was Jan Ravensbesser when Thatcher was
Jan's
ousted.
Very good. I love Jan.
When they ousted Margaret Thatcher, it was how much, really and truly, whatever you thought about her politics, how annoying was that? And it was, yeah, of course, because there's now a limit. I mean, Trump is now, you're on borrowed time. You have to wait. And the wonderful thing is, and you won't do this, but the wonderful thing is, I know that in 18 months' time, when we're back and running, there'll still be impressionists going, Yes, amazing, because Joe Biden. I mean, I remember Joe Biden. Well, do you remember when he was talking to Trump and Trump said...
Yeah. Well, do you know what it is with Biden is, what I find with Biden, because I've been trying to learn Biden, is he looks like your grandma trying to watch the TV when she's lost her glasses. Do you know what I mean? Because if you look at Biden's face, you know, hey, come on, man, come on. Everybody knows I'm president-elect. Everybody knows I beat Donald Trump. You know, everybody knows that. Everybody knows I won because the media tell you. You know, and people say, you know, Joe, the media are not a good sauce. And I tell you what is a good sauce: ketchup. I have it every morning. My bacon and eggs and my, you know. Did you see that when he just didn't know what he was saying at one point? He was just talking, and then I don't know what even that word was that he'd said. It was quite incredible. I think Tucker Carlson reported it, you know, and it's been shared all around the internet. It's just, that's the beauty of online stuff as well. You know, it just gets shared around.
Danny, what's the cutoff point? Okay, really, I love impressions. I love skill. You know what? I love jugglers. I love impressions. I love people who've got a skill that I haven't got. I really do. I'm always in awe of people like you, and even magicians. Although most of them eventually you suss it out. But there is nothing sadder. And it's almost like a wonderful little play for today than an impressionist who it can't keep up, you know. I mean, I remember when Johnny Thompson, who's now, of course, a wonderful actor, but John was a comedian, he was an impressionist, and he used to come out and do Frank Spencer and all those, and just do them all really quickly and say, right, that's all that out of the way, and move on. So what's your cutoff point for someone?
Well, I mean, I think with somebody like Trump, I think Trump's going to still last for another 7-8 years. I mean, me and Bobby Davro were talking about this. Well, Bobby wrote something, right? I was staying at his house. It was about 3 a.m. I was asleep in his spare room, and he rings me. I'm going, Bobby, I'm staying at your house. Why are you calling me? Do you know what I mean? So he rings me up. He went, I've got a great idea as a musical for Trump. Because I think there will be a musical in the West End about him, because he's just such a character, isn't he? And Bobby wrote this song, and because he couldn't do the voice, he gave it to me. Well, I mean, I had to take him out for dinner and buy him a few drinks for it. Do you know what I mean? But he wrote this song.
Quick, it was just, 10 seconds.
It goes, how do you solve a problem in North Korea? How do you make Kim Jong-un take a fall?
Talk Radio. Whether you fancy owning a swimming pool big enough to have its own yacht, or just a yacht big enough to have its own swimming pool, what you need is Dream Come True money. Luckily, Friday's Euro Millions Super Jackpot is £110 million. Now that's Dream Come True money. Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Play online or on the app. Estimated jackpot. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
This Black Friday, get a spectacular 50% off Sky Sports when you take Sky Signature for £25 a month. Enjoy unrivaled live Premier League coverage.
As good as it gets.
Every F1 race. And many more unmissable live sporting events. For new and existing customers, visit sky.com today. Offer ends November 30th. New 18-month minimum terms for Sky Signature and Sky Sports. Discount on out-of-contract pricing with 18-month minimum terms. Set up £40, kit loaned at no cost.
I wash my hands to protect my family.
I wear a face covering to protect my mates.
I make space to protect my colleagues.
Hands.
Face.
Space.
I wash my hands to protect strangers.
I wear a face covering to protect other passengers.
I make space to protect you. Hands.
Face.
Space.
As we spend more time indoors, we need to do whatever we can to